players are pleased with the update from the Persona 5 Phantom X developers. Oh my god, really? Really? We're finally at a good state. Hey, I see EO there. I can finally play the game again. ... in 6 months. Okay. Thank you for playing Persona 5 The Phantom X. We prepared a letter to talk about the feedback and requests from our players, as well as shed some light on future updates. Great. What I'm hoping is, actually, you know what? Let's not. Let's just take a look at what they're actually planning on doing here first. I'm hoping Sega actually keeps it more like the Chinese version of the game rather than just absolutely destroying global. Greetings, thieves. Thank you for your patience and ongoing support. I mean, I mean, when you do a search here and you look at it on Steam, I mean, I don't want to say that the support has not been very good, but the support there at mostly negative, that doesn't seem like a lot of support, personally. Since launch this past June, we've received a significant amount of player feedback. We've heard your feedback, and while some aspects have not met expectations, haven't met expectations. No, we're atrocious. We're committed to making meaningful improvements. Good. In this letter, we hope to answer your questions and concerns based on feedback we've received so far, especially regarding the differences with the Chinese and Asia versions, the contract system, as well as shed some light on future updates. Great. Perfect. Implementation of a new contract system. Okay. This is a lot of requests to implement the contracts that guarantee the most wanted 5-star character that is in the Chinese Asia versions. We're currently considering its implementation for... Okay. So this game, right? This is a Chinese game, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. This is a Chinese game, right? Developed by Atlas Games, Arc Games, and Sega. Who is the actual developer, though? Because I feel like this was made in China, wasn't it? Yeah, it was made in, initially released in China. So this is a Chinese game. Okay, so in China, there is a feature that exists in the Chinese version, and in the global Japanese version, it does not exist. They are currently considering implementing the thing that is already implemented in the Chinese version. Why is that not already a thing? I don't know, man. That just seems weird to me that they'd remove that and then at a later date be like, I mean, we might consider adding it. Okay. If you did obtain a 5-star from the previous 79 draws, the next draw guarantees a 5-star. If a non-most wanted 5-star was obtained, the next one you guarantee is the most wanted. So basically, there's a 50-50. In the global version, there is a 50-50. If you did obtain a 5-star from the previous 109 draws, your 110 guarantees a 5-star, and that is guaranteed to be the most wanted. So basically, what they're saying is, by increasing the pity by 30, you guarantee a character with no 50-50 at all. That is the same that same system Arc Knight's Enfield has. That is a lot better, and that should have been there by default. Like, I don't know why that was changed. Because they hate us? Just like global Tellier wrestler around and let it die. I mean, dude, it's dying. That's why they're trying to make these changes, right? In the Chinese Asia versions, the contract was implemented 6 months after release. Oh, so it was changed. China decided to change it after it was released. For the Japanese Western versions, we're currently making adjustments in order to release it earlier. Okay, that is really good. I'm glad to see that. That is a good adjustment. After the release of the system, the current contract system will also continue to be made available. However, please note that the number of draws until the guaranteed 5-star is counted separately between the two contract systems. So okay, this is, they're gonna do what Snowbreak does. Snowbreak has 2 separate banners. One guarantees the character at 100 pulls. The other guarantees the character, or a character, random, SSR, at I think it's 70 pulls or 80 pulls. So they're gonna use Snowbreak's system. That is okay. I think that's fine. That's a good compromise. Yeah, I just prefer if they give us 100% banners like Korea has. Better than some gacha. Should have done that from the beginning though. They really should have, yeah. Is Enfield like 130? I thought Enfield was 120. I thought it was 120, and then the 50-50 happens at 160, right? Minami Miyashita's Cognite and a 5-star weapon. The Chinese and Asian versions players were able to obtain Minami from Business Plan 3 and 4 respectively. In the Japanese Western versions, 3 and 4 were implemented earlier compared to the Chinese versions. The issue was already available in the gold ticket contracts when they were implemented. As a result, there's a difference in the rewards for playing 3 and 4 between the two versions. Yes, I think that was actually, this right here is one of the biggest issues that players had. And I guess they're addressing it. We plan to provide a new method for players to obtain the Cognitite and the weapon. We're preparing a special campaign that will also benefit those who obtained duplicates of Minami and her weapon. The details for this campaign will be in the latter half of this letter. Okay, so they listened to the gacha. They listened for the acquisition of Minami's Cognitite and 5-star weapon. Okay, that's actually good. I hope Girls Frontline 2 does this. Chinese screwing global most of the time. Addition of new characters to the gold ticket contracts. This was another very important issue that players brought up. We've received a lot of feedback and requests regarding the addition of new characters to the Phantom Idol Draft X, which uses gold tickets. In the Chinese version, some 5-star Phantom Idols, including the ones listed below, were added to the draft immediately after their most wanted period. In the Japanese Western versions, we plan to add them roughly 6 months after their initial release. That upset a lot of people. Before we go any further, I do want to take a moment here to thank all of my incredible patrons over on Patreon and my YouTube channel members who allow for me to continue to do dedicated videos like this every single day. You guys are absolutely phenomenal, and I genuinely cannot thank you all enough for the support. I remember that being a very large topic of contention. Among the characters that appear in the game up to version 1.4, the Phantom Idols that will be added to the draft are as follows. Okay, so they're listening. Great to hear. Frequency of new characters and free rewards. I mean, free rewards. I'm happy whenever I get free rewards in Nikke or Wuwa. We've received feedback saying that due to the speed of updates, it's difficult for players to save up contracts currently, such as tickets and coins. Yeah, if you're speeding up to try and synchronize the versions of a game, then I think the compensation should be increased, right? So it makes up for the currency loss between obtaining tickets and millicoins. We prepared multiple avenues for players to obtain contracts currency, such as through login rewards and by playing through the content. Plan to release a large-scale update with version 2.0 in September. To celebrate this update, players will be able to obtain 20 platinum tickets and millicoins through login bonus. I mean, that sounds good to me. Will they compensate missed rewards for global? Yeah, exactly. That's what it looks like they're doing in some capacity. Is the game we're playing after this? I don't know. Let's finish. Let's finish this and see. Hope they mean it. I know. You can say whatever you want. Doesn't mean you're gonna actually do it, right? For reward sounds nice, yeah. We'd like to share details on the paid item offerings available in the shop. In the Japanese Western version, some items that were offered in the shop of the Chinese versions were changed, which, I mean, that's always kind of shitty for us as global players. These changes were made to comply with platform regulations, as well as the laws in Japan and the countries of the Western version. We also plan to offer new items for the global versions to replace the items that cannot be sold, although it's difficult to have the item offerings be exactly the same between. Okay, so there are certain restrictions that are preventing them from releasing all the Chinese stuff globally. I mean, there's really nothing you can do about that, right? It is what it is. Upcoming features and campaigns. Let's talk about the upcoming features and campaigns that are planned for version 2.0 onwards. Tasks, their name is not final. Currently working on a feature where players can obtain various items by dispatching characters of their choosing. Through tasks, players can obtain a special item once a week called Thief's Cognitite Shard. You can exchange 60 of this special item for Cognitite that can be used to increase the awareness level of a character. I think awareness level, is that like a dupe? Plan to release this feature in version 2.0. Wait, so you need 60 of the Thief's Cognitite Shard, 60, and you can obtain 1 per week. That's 4 per month. That's 48 per year, unless you get more than 1. But at this rate, it will take you 15 months. A lot of doing that weekly. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but they haven't defined an actual, they just said a special item once a week. So maybe it's 1. Maybe it's more. Hopefully it's more for the sake of people that play this. Luthel's Business Plan EX. Plan to add an expansion of Luthel's Business Plan as a brand new feature for the global versions. The rewards for this feature will make it easier for players to forge their 5-star weapons, and it'll be available through daily play. Okay, cool. It sounds good. By gathering 60 of this rare item, players can exchange it for Cognitite used to awaken a character. Okay. Can only be used to awaken characters during the gold ticket contract. In global, this feature will also extend to other 5 stars. Okay. So the characters above will be, okay. Okay, that sounds fine. Bruh, yeah. A year and a quarter to get 60. That sounds like they're doing the bare minimum. You know what? They are doing the bare minimum. They 100% are. But at the same time, at the very least, they're doing something, right? You can fault them for the amount of effort they're putting into this, but you can't fault them for the fact that they are still genuinely doing something. And at the end of the day, something is better than nothing. Nothing, of course, is what the Girls Frontline 2 devs were doing. There's a previously mentioned campaign where players can obtain Minami's Cogniton 5-star weapon around mid to late September. We plan to hold a special campaign exclusive to the Japanese Western versions where players can obtain the Thief's Cognitite shards and a 5-star weapon. Okay, hey, that sounds pretty good, right? Should you reinstall? I would wait and see what happens. The campaign players will have the opportunity to obtain 60 Thieves Cognitite shards that can be exchanged for the Cognitite of one, or a Cognitite of one of the available 5-star characters. So you get a free 5-star. Okay, that's cool. Following that, we're also planning to hold a gift campaign. Oh my God, my English. Following that, we also plan to hold a gift campaign where players can select one 5-star weapon to obtain. So free 5-star and a free 5-star weapon. Okay, you know what? That's actually okay. Selection lineup also includes Minami's weapon. Other weapons included in the lineup will be announced later. Closing words. Thank you very much for reading all the way to the end. I wanted to use this letter as an opportunity to address player feedback regarding the differences between China versions that were released earlier, as well as let players know about the upcoming updates and campaigns. Basically what they're saying is Stix keeps making videos covering all the dumb shit we're doing, and people are getting more and more upset. So this right here is our formal apology to not only Stix, but the general community for Persona 5 Defensive X to get them off our backs, to let them know we're actually doing something. So shut up and leave us alone, please, for the love of God. Right? In this letter, we hope to answer some of the feedback regarding the differences with the Chinese versions, to tell you about some of the planned updates and campaigns that are unique to the Western versions. We have noticed that many Japanese Western players are progressing through the palaces and story in one continuous playthrough. Smaller things like building characters, city life activities, and character interactions are reserved for shorter daily sessions. We hope to enhance our players' experience with some form of change or growth in their daily play through these new activities or initiatives. We talked about Luffy's business plan improvements, blah, blah, blah. We'll continue to communicate with our players on the website, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube through announcements and letters. Okay, cool. Yeah, remain communicative. Be open. We are currently preparing initiatives that will release around the same time for both Western versions and Chinese versions. Cool. Preparations are currently underway so that we can provide a new experience to all regions simultaneously. Cool. I mean, yeah, no, that overall, that's a great apology. And they're implementing several core issues. They are fixing several core issues that players had with the game. 100%. Let's take a look at reviews though and see if anyone... Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, players seem to be a little happier with it. Y'all see how for 2 weeks now, there's just been a constant state of mass negative reviews over on the far right. For the first time in a month, there was a decent uptick in positive. So, I mean, evidently some people have positively received their apology. Or all these goddamn gacha devs decided in the span of 3 or 4 months to self-sabotage. I don't know, I think it's just 2025. They're losing it, man. Good in-depth apology. Yeah, that was actually very good. That was very good. The devs listened. They really did listen. And that's really good to see. I know people give me crap for covering, you know, the negative stuff, right? People are like, Stix, you cover, you know, a lot of drama. And it's true, I do. I do cover a lot of drama, and that's because I think it is the responsibility of not only players, but content creators to hold studios accountable. Because if bigger content creators are remaining silent, who else is going to reinforce public sentiment and perception? Who else is gonna stand up for the individual player when they have nobody to voice, to be their voice, right? To be their champion. So then there's this video. This is a very positive video on Persona 5 Defensive X. I would love to do a follow-up video on Infinity Nikki, Heaven Burns Red, Girls Frontline 2, Black Beacon, Crystal of Atlan, Area Restart, which I know is never gonna happen, but you know, I'd love to do a follow-up video on all those gacha games, talking positively about them. They saved their game. They listened to player feedback. They made adequate and sufficient changes. And I mean, I would love for there to be no drama in the genre, because it's, you know, sure, it's great for views, but at the same time, like, I love covering positive stuff too, right? Like, looking at the videos I've done recently, negative Girls Frontline 2 video, positive Reverse 1999, positive Etheria Restart, positive Azure Premilia, negative, what was that? Rememento? Negative Black Beacon, positive Gacha video, neutral, negative Brown Dust 2 video, positive Wuthering Waves video, negative Honkai Star Rail video, negative whatever that one was, positive Suikoden Star Leap, negative Girls Frontline 2, positive Wuwa, positive Arknight Tinfield Ananta and Azure Permelia. So, I mean, I love doing positive. Half my videos are positive, half are negative. So some people are like, all you do is drama, all you do are negative, and that's just not true. But the reason I cover the negative and the drama is because somebody needs to. And if nobody is doing it, then less people know. And if less people know, less people are talking. And if less people are talking, there's less chance for change. And that is my goal. That is my goal, to make as much change as I can in the genre. One game, one video, one community at a time, which is what our subreddit community is for. This community right here, chat. You post, I react, I share. I use my platform to share when and where I can. So that's it. Join the community. Keep me up to date so I can keep everyone else up to date. I know you think that you just hit the end of the video, and technically, yeah, you have. And I know your first reaction is to close out of it at this juncture, but don't. No, instead, I urge you to take a moment here and click one of the videos on screen that are coming up in just a moment so you remain up to date with everything going on in the gacha genre. Trust me, you're not going to regret doing so. Stay flaccid.